What's up, guys? This is Bryce Van Hoosen. Welcome back to the channel. Doing something a little bit different today. Today I wanted to do just a quick install video of a product that was sent to me. So first off, I have this 2019 Jackson Monarch Pro Series in the classily named gold member color scheme. Yeah, both a reference to Austin Powers and the Gibson gold top, I believe, or the authentic gold top, I should say, because you know, play authentic. And so the product that was sent to me, meaning this is, yes, indeed a sponsored video, is this Guyker. I think that's how you pronounce it. Guyker. This is a Tune-O-Matic bridge, and what's kind of different about this one is it has quite a bit of locking mechanisms on it. Take a look at that. So yeah, man, I have been interested in the Guyker stuff for a little bit, to be completely honest, and I've sort of wondered if it's just sort of import crap material sort of guitar replacement parts, you know, sort of like the stuff that comes on like Chibsons, that sort of thing, or if it was, you know, decent high quality stuff, maybe on par with like Godot or something like that. So yeah, I kind of had that thought in the back of my mind, and then Guyker, possibly knowing that I had been questioning their brand, actually hit me up and offered to collaborate on a video and send me some stuff to make a video about. If I like this and it doesn't totally suck, then you will see that video. So yeah, spoiler alert. Anyway, what's different about this is there are a lot of different locking mechanisms on this, right? So the saddle's lock, and then there's also an additional Allen lock that will lock the actual post of the Tune-O-Matic to the bridge so that nothing is moving around at all. For this guitar in particular, I have noticed that there has been a bit to be desired in terms of tuning stability and that sort of thing. I know that the authentic brand, the LP, right, is known for not necessarily having the best tuning stability of all of the guitars on the market. I thought this one would be just a little bit different because of the fact that the headstock is basically pulling the strings straight through, but that's not been the case. So I've done a number of things already where I've, you know, put locking tuners, go to locking tuners on this. I switched out the nut for a Graphtec nut, and still a little bit to be desired in terms of overall tuning stability of this instrument. So this is kind of my last ditch effort before I just sort of part ways with this thing. So let's see if the Guyker Tune-O-Matic bridge, the locking one, is going to help the overall stability of this guitar, because I like it. It looks cool. I think it, you know, some people don't like this shape, but I say, you know, whatever, fuck them. All right, so as you can see and hear, I've already taken the strings off of this one, so there we go. We'll take the stop bar tailpiece and we'll go ahead and pull this guy off. As you can see, there's a lot that moves around on this. It's easy to just sort of pull the bridge off of the, whatever the string height adjustment screws, these little things. That basically means that, you know, whenever there's any sort of tension that's being changed, right, you hit a big gnarly bend, this thing is gonna move, and we're talking, you know, fractions of a % of an inch here. That is going to be the difference between a perfect high E string and something that's maybe detuned or gone sharp by 5-6 cents, something like that, where we can really kind of start to hear it. So you multiply 5 cents across all of the strings, and yeah, you have a guitar that sounds a little bit sour. The other thing about this is the saddles, right? They actually move in here. I don't know if you probably can't see that, but trust me, these things, there's a little bit of play, a little bit of give in here. So as we know, you know, if you've ever played a guitar with a Floyd Rose, things that move when you do things and then they don't go back to where they were, that's just a mess for tuning. So there we go. All right, so let's open this thing. Yep, I'm tearing through this box here. Boom, boom, boom. Solid packaging. It's a little tight, so I'm, you know, doing my best to get it out of here. Okay, let's get everything out. So this comes with everything you need for a full install, right? We got the aforementioned Tune-O-Matic bridge here. And then we have the bushings in addition to the string height adjustment screws that go in here as well. And then a little Allen key to use to basically lock this thing into place. What I am going to do, I wonder if I can just use these. Nope. That is a little tight, so. Again, this is just a standard kind of import. I believe this is a made in Indonesia guitar Pro Series from Jackson, if I haven't mentioned that. Year 2019, gold member. How many more times can I insert gold member into this video? Pun intended. Let me pull these things out and see if this will thread into here, because it would be cool to just use the same bushings that I have in place. These things, you can remove them similarly to the way that you can remove the Floyd Rose bushings. What I do is I usually just kind of like to pop these things up like this, and then put maybe a piece of wood down and put like a claw hammer on the claw side and just gently loosen them up, pull it forward, and then use a mallet to put these things back in. But if we don't need to do that, then that's going to make this install process that much easier. All right, so here are the Guyker ones. I think these actually might fit. So they're just a little longer, but okay. Not catching yet. Great news. All right, yeah, man, these will work. Cool. So I'm just gonna keep the stock bushings in there because why not? And we'll put this guy on there. There we go. It just falls right into place. That on there, and then there you go. That's basically it. That is about as easy of an install process as we can get from something like this. No woodwork or anything required. So if you have something with like a USA Tune-O-Matic bridge, I believe that's probably going to be a different kind of situation, but nope. Grimps is up here to check my work. Yeah, how's it look? You didn't poop on yourself, did you? Okay, I'm gonna go grab some strings here. I'll get this baby strung back up. We're gonna do the Slinky Cobalts 9 through 46 on this one. We're gonna tune this baby to E flat. And yeah, let's see how we do here. For Tune-O-Matic, I like the top wrap just because I'm a big fan of Zakk Wylde, and I don't know, I think it looks cool. So definitely the most time-consuming part of this is putting strings back on. If you don't know anything about modifying your guitar, then you can still do this. I believe in you. There we go. All right. All right. Looks like my action is way low, so I'm going to go lift that thing up. Typically start at 1.5 mil on each side and then adjust from there. So we're looking pretty good on the high E. Low E, it needs to come up a little bit here. I'll go down on the high E side just a tiny bit. Perfect. All right. That tuning is horrible, but let's plug her into my tuner and get this thing set Peterson accurate. Alright, so we're pretty much in tune. I need to do kind of some fine tuning on the overall setup, but and then adjust the intonation and all of that kind of fun stuff. So I'm going to do that off screen, and then once I get all of that done, I'm going to come back. We're going to do a little bit of playing, and I'll give you my final thoughts here. Woo! All right, cool. So I got this thing installed, and as you can hear, after some brutal thrashing of the strings here, it sounds pretty in tune. So that's definitely an improvement on what it was before with the stock bridge. It never really quite stayed in tune after doing a bunch of stuff kind of like that. Yeah, I definitely think that this is an improvement. In terms of actually doing the setup, because I did run into some issues, and the issues were kind of the same thing that I always run into anytime I'm dealing with import parts that aren't, you know, of the Godot or Floyd Rose, Schaller variety, right? And it is in the fact that a lot of the hardware and the screws and that sort of thing that they will use to, for whatever reason, they're not that good, okay? So I ran into an issue when I was setting the intonation on this, and because everything locks, I have to unlock and relock the set screw in order to adjust the saddle itself. Well, on the D string, when I was going to re-lock it after setting up the intonation went perfectly, everything was fine, etc., no issues there. But when I went back to lock everything down, somehow the set screw on the D string got cross-threaded, no idea. And I ended up stripping out the tiny little set screw that was in there, and had to take one of them off of the post lock thing in order to lock it, because that thing was just sliding around without the lock. So there we go. For whatever reason, you know, I don't know why these companies kind of decide to sort of skimp on the final delivery of the actual tooled parts and the parts that are going to get the most wear and tear and the most use, right? Guitar players are not usually known as kind of these dainty creatures that are really nice and non-intrusive in the way that they like to handle setup and things like that, right? We over-tighten things constantly. you know, there's all kinds of issues there. We strip stuff out, etc., etc. So why everybody sort of is guilty of using these kind of like cheap screws and things like that, Allen keys, etc., etc. All of the companies do it. This is not just a Guyker issue in and of itself, but they all do it, and I don't know why. Like, can we just use like decent metal for, you know, stuff that we have to like screw in and move and all that kind of stuff? Like, please, for the love of God. But other than that, I mean, I think it was a pretty solid thing. That's my final 2 cents on the Guyker stuff. So if you're into this and you want to check it out, do know that there is an affiliate link in the description where you can use it, and I'll get a small commission on whatever you buy there. So, you know, check it out for yourself. I definitely think it's worth it. Stuff's pretty cheap, pretty inexpensive, so it's not like, you know, you're getting something that you're not paying for, or you're not getting what you are paying for. You are getting what you're paying for. So, you know, there's that. Anyway, I am Bryce Van Hoosen. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you next time.